Hi, I'm Bonnie, and I've been praying and wondering about what our lives might be like if we were called to be in ministry together. Most mornings I go over to the church and I do morning prayer, and then afterwards I've been doing a little Lectio Visia. That is, I've been going on your websites and your Facebook pages and marveling at your ministries and taking in the images of holiness that you're offering to the world of the ether. And I think about how it is we might connect with each other and have a deep relationship and talk about God in such a way that it touches our hearts and our souls. And I think about how we need to hear and heed the wisdom of young people and then create positions of leadership for them in our churches. And I find myself dreaming about sacred conversations about race, where I acknowledge my sin and where I and the church make amends and reparations so that we might move towards reconciliation. And if we were to do these conversations, have these conversations with vulnerability and sincerity, how we might be a model for the secular world. And I pray about our aging buildings. What you should know about me is that prayer matters. And it started when I was 16 years old and I went on a kids' Crucio, a happening. And I had this idea that God didn't like me because God knew everything I had said or done or thought about doing. And then when I said this, the priest on the retreat challenged me to pray that to God, and I did. And this thing happened. My body was filled with warmth, and I had this experience of knowing that I was completely and utterly, profoundly loved by God in the person of Jesus for who I am and how I am, and that God loves me and you and all of us. And that has changed everything in my life. Fast forward to 1992, and I am contemplating moving to Chicago to be with my spouse, my partner Susan Harlow, who's gotten a faculty position in a seminary, and I don't have a job. And one of my colleagues said, well, what sort of ministry do you want? I said, I want a mission congregation in an urban context where we can do amazing ministry together. And she said, have you asked God? Have you prayed that? So I did. 3 weeks later, I was called to All Saints. There were 30 of us that day. It's the oldest wood frame church still in use in the city of Chicago, and it looked it. Some 26 years later, I marvel that I feel like I have served 3 different congregations, but they've all had the same address. These days, it's not unusual for us to have 10 times the number of people that we started with. Our average age is 38. And all of this has happened because we are grounded in our liturgy and in our prayer. Our vestry meetings, the first 45 minutes is nothing but prayer and Bible study. And it has made all the difference in the world. That's a bit about me. I'm looking forward to finding out more about you. And in the meantime, I'll be praying.